Well, Victoria, that was a great answer, and you just led me into our third big topic that I want to discuss, which is your coping strategies and how you with stress or anxiety or other things during the pandemic. So you just mentioned a bunch of things like riding your bike or painting or just some other activities to kind of escape social media. Alfonso, you said before that you want to try and get off social media a little bit and to relax or just, play video games with your friends, other ways to communicate, right? So how did you guys cope with being isolated, especially like at the peak of all of this when COVID was really bad everywhere and you really couldn't go out or do anything? How when you guys were isolated like that, how did it take a toll on your mental health? Sarah, I think you're muted still.
Sorry, I didn't unmute myself. I can
It's
hear
all
me.
right, don't worry.
Okay. So as for me, like I said, I was really depressed in the beginning because, like Victoria said, I really like it what she said. That is, we started to get online all the time, even though we were not talking about with our friends. So I think that in some point we wouldn't need social media just to talk with our friends. But because we just needed to scroll the screen, scroll and scroll and scroll, and to see in other people's lives and to get there, and of course, the creators of TikTok and Instagram, they want us to be there. So they create all the content they can to keep us there online 24 hours a day. And here in Brazil, for example, we had a research that most of young people were like at least 5 hours at their cell phone social media. So this is a lot of time, 5 hours of your day just doing nothing, just seeing other people's lives. So like Victoria said, we don't need to do that. We have a lot of things to do. And I think that social media brought a loss of intimacy, because everything got so how can I say, everyone was there just to sometimes to get likes or comments, and I think this is a really hard thing that happened. So to cope with that, with all the new changes, without me going crazy, I started to learn things on my own. So I started, for example, to learn that I know how to do artistic makeup, or I entered in a book club that I really like to. So now I read a book a month.
Awesome.
I started to, yeah. And my mom, for example, for the pandemic, she's a teacher, so she got a really bad salary, because of course she's a teacher, so the money wasn't too good here. The pandemic was awful, so she started a baking business, and I started to helping her. So I learned how to do marketing stuff, and I had to learn that. And I learned that all social media. So at the same time that social media can bring you down, can make you depressed because you're all the time comparing yourself with other people's life. You can also take good things from it. So, for example, I do this marketing course, I do this book club, and well, I learned so much on my own. I learned things the tradition that I didn't learn the tradition in school. They never taught me. So I am learning without being tested, because sometimes we get, oh my God, I have to make a test. But now in the pandemic, we got a real assessments, like real problem assessments. We have to become problem solvers. So this is a really great way that I use to cope with everything and to develop myself. So I think that this necessity that people had to be in social media, showing themselves and being there, just seeing other people life, was I think that was worth for everyone, because we get addicted. But I'm using social media as my favor now, because at the same time, like I said, it's a good thing. You can get courses, you can learn content from people that are smart. They are there sharing for you. So you can use as your favor, or you can use to bring you down and to just keep 5 hours doing anything. So you have to make a choice. So yeah, for me,
So,
that
so
was it
social
with
media
social
really,
medias.
so sometimes it's the worst and sometimes it's the best because you get addicted to it and it gets you stressed out because you're trying to look at everything or how many likes or whatever. But it's also helping you cope, and you found other ways to increase your productivity during the pandemic and reach out and do other things like helping your mom with her business or taking a course or things like that, right? So for the rest of you guys, like obviously Sarah, you were doing a lot and you found a lot of ways to cope. But for the rest of you guys, were you guys able to find some other things to do to cope with that stress? Well, I mean, so did you guys get any like seriously increase stress from the pandemic? Like being isolated, did that like did that affect you a lot?
I mean, for me personally, I think I didn't have more stress during the pandemic. I just had a different kind of stress than my typical day to day life.
Mhm.
Because, in a usual year of high school, I would go to class, stress over tests and studying, stress over sports tryouts, stress over, my job and working. But this year, it kind of shifted dramatically in just I was stressed about, okay, how much longer are we going to be dealing with this? When will I be able to work again? When will I be able to go back to school?
Yeah.
When will I be able to see people? So it definitely added some stress in that sense. Now, in terms of coping, I was able to really, I have not a big family, but there I share the house with three brothers. So that definitely made it easier having people right there to talk to and communicate with just in my own house. And then reading, I got into a whole lot, which I wasn't doing as much prior to the pandemic, but it definitely helped me.
Yeah, I love what you said that it's not more stress, but it's a different kind of stress. Like how long how much longer are we going to be in our house? How much longer am I not going to be able to see my friends or talk to people? It's a different kind of stress that affected your mental health, right? Or something like that. Alfonso, how did you get more stress during the pandemic?
Uh, at the beginning of the pandemic, my family and tried to uh, like to sobrellevar,
To overpass.
to overpass the pandemic with we used to do some exercise every day. Used to uh, we used to play some games, some in family, like Monopoly, like
Risk.
Risk, like a game that I know, like Stop,
Chess.
chess. I learn a lot of chess. Some we used to try some activities
In family.
in family
To overpass.
to overpass the pandemic. But now we didn't used to do that activities. Now we used to see a movie
In TV.
in TV, some series. But now with some homeworks, like a month ago, yes, I feel so stressed, but
Not more than the
no,
past.
no more than in the past, because a month ago was the end of a part of the year of the a part of the school, and
I'm now in winter.
is
Winter
and
holidays.
now I am in winter
Holidays.
holidays, and now I don't feel so stressed, but because in family we could overpass.
Handle better.
Mhm. So throughout the pandemic, a lot of family bonding helped you deal with all the stress that was going on during the school year, right? So you guys played games or you exercise, and exercise I think is really common for a lot of people, or working out or going for a run, because when you were able to jog outside, like for some people that was really some of the only stuff you could do, because you didn't have access to go to a gym or go out and work out with friends. So you try to make the best of it and do things your own. So it seems like a lot of you guys have family that you were able to hang out with or do things with that kind of supported you throughout the pandemic. But I'm gonna move on to the next topic just because I want to get everything in, if that's okay. So